Do you believe in ghosts, aliens, and other mysteries of the universe? Do you want to hear stories and opinions from people who have experienced the supernatural? Then tune in to Supernatural Limits, the podcast that explores the unknown and the unexplained. Every week, we explore encounters with the paranormal, the bizarre, and the unbelievable. Whether a skeptic or a believer, join us on this thrilling journey into the other side of reality.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Supernatural Limits, episode 9. You're keeping it posted here with guysosmooth and special guest host WREX. What up, bro?
Malo, bro.
Thanks for coming in to hold it down with as we climb down these rabbit holes, bro.
And thank you for having me on. It's good to finally chat with you.
Yeah, right. Everyone, this is a momentous occasion. As you all know, WEFOBZ is growing, and so is the Supernatural Limits podcast crew. Rex has been a longtime fan, and we're hoping to have a lot of him here on the shows as we move forward. And thank you once again, bro. Man, let's get something. Let's get some of these housekeeping items out of the way before we carry on for this Supernatural Limits podcast. Disclaimer: everything expressed here on this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. The views expressed belong to the speakers themselves and do not represent the wefobzenterprise Enterprise brand. And that's that. Well, whyuce, man, how's the weekend? We're just starting on the weekend. How's it treating you so far?
It's good. I've just been chilling, kicking it, and doing a little bit more research since we last talked. So I was like, man, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, right. So, WEFOBZ Nation, we're on episode 9 of the Supernatural Limits, and in episode 9, we wanted to explore the topic called the lizard people. I don't know if any of you out there have ever heard of lizard people or lizard men or lizard women, but that's what we want to bring to the forefront here for this Supernatural Limits episode. Rex, have you ever heard of the lizard people?
You know, it wasn't until earlier this year that I started hearing about it. Just in, like in podcasts, and then just slowly coming across it just randomly on the internet. And the more I came across it, the more intrigued I got, and I started listening to more stuff and try to dig a little bit deeper. But it's a weird one, because there's different aspects of it. You got the alien aspect, you have the evolution aspect, or you have the religious aspect.
Right. That's actually what I put up with. I didn't just recently heard about it, because I've heard about it for a while, but I never gave it much attention. And then just recently, when we started doing this podcast, I was just looking back into, hey, what's a cool topic to talk about? Lizard people came up a lot. Saw these shorts that were going on over Facebook, TikTok, on social media streams about lizard people, and I'm all like, damn, this thing didn't go away.
Yeah, it's same with me. That's where I started seeing it. I started seeing it more prevalent on Facebook. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then, like how you say, you go down the rabbit hole. Man, did I go down some rabbit holes looking into it.
Especially with this one, right?
Yep.
Well, let me ask you something. For our circles, why do you think people would want to be interested? Or what do you think is the curiosity or the itch that you would want to know about these things or these beings?
Like in our circle, you mean like in the poly community?
Communities that we're a part of, like not even just the poly, but just around in our circle, like where we are.
Yeah, honestly, man, I think it feels like a lot of people are just uh what being awakened to certain information,
Right.
like like the
The-
curiosity that we have, we try to delve deeper, and the deeper we try to go, the more information is thrown at us to try to disseminate through. And it's like, man, what am I getting into? Like, what is really going on that where I'm just barely scratching the surface trying to figure out what these things are.
And then the question is like, why are you telling us now? Good example. The freaking release of the alien data, right?
Yeah.
By the US government. This
It's like, oh yeah,
alleged,
they're telling us about aliens. What are they trying to cover up?
right? What are they trying to hide? That's what people ask.
Yeah.
And I think it's one thing to point out for the WEFOBZ Nation that whenever lizard people come up, it's gonna come up when conspiracies come up. I see it over here in Wikipedia. Lizard people are one of the top 10 conspiracy theories in the US. One of the top 10.
Yeah, it's up there, man. So like as I was doing my research and going over some notes like today, I started crunching some more. I was like, man, it's looking like they're trying to make it out to be a joke, or it's like the information that's being put out there is
Yep.
trying to discredit people that do say that they've had sightings, or just trying to make a laughing stock out of people. Like one name I kept coming across was David Icke,
Yeah.
and that dude, man, I feel so bad because there's a lot of stuff where he's talking and he's trying to be serious, and people are just clowning him. It's like, man, why do you even try it? And the fact that he still tries after being humiliated, is there some kind of truth behind it?
I know exactly who you're talking about because people, when you go and research lizard people, you will come across that name. And this guy, like many others, he keeps what do you call it? He keeps preaching the same thing. And people
Yep.
call him a kook.
Yep. But
Uh
his story hasn't changed.
no,
Like from the first time he's talked about it all the way to recent interviews as far as 2019, he's still saying the same thing. His story hasn't deviated. And it kind of makes you wonder, is like, is there some kind of truth behind it, or stuff like that. Like you can't always just discredit people.
well, bro, it's been said. Wikipedia also says, though I cite this source, people are like, why are you citing Wikipedia? It's the easiest source to go cite other than Google. Google is a freaking institution we've all named. But we're looking at open source, and Wikipedia is allegedly open source. So there. Anyhow, they're saying that his theories are kind of catching on now, like with a lot of people after they're seeing all this shit taking place on actual TV. How they're calling Biden's wearing a face mask and everything. I don't know if you've seen those videos that recently came out within
Yeah.
this what was it, the last 3 days or something. Biden's face looking a little weird.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
like they make it look like it's a mask. It's crazy.
and it had that. There's even one it looks like he has gills, bro. Like
A lot of that though, like how back in the day they used to say, man, you really don't have evidence unless you have video. But now with AI and
yes, it's
CGI, like
and
how easy would it be to make something like that, or how easy would it be to create a video to where it looks like you're crazy and they just discredit you?
bro, they can flawlessly do it. We've talked about it a lot on a couple of different WeFobs episodes. It's like deep fakes, you know,
Yep.
deep
Yeah,
fakes.
it's crazy.
So I'm gonna bring it home for the our WeFobs audience. Why are we talking about lizard people? Like I said, lizard people have been coming up a lot recently on social media channels and in the news. David Icke, which Rex pointed out, is one of he's one of the main top dogs you're gonna come across when you go into this topic. But what is lizard people? So what it is there's a belief out there that these beings that are half man, half lizard looking, or half lizard head exist in the world. And the conspiracy theory is that they're running the world. They live in the underground. There's another theory that's saying we're hiding from the public the fact that the U.S. government is giving them children to feed. It gets pretty crazy. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what the lizard people conspiracy theory is, WEFOBZ Nation. And that's what we're talking about, because previously we talked about Bigfoot and the Loch Ness monster. We talked about beings that you cannot see. Lizard people are one of those beings you cannot see. They're like said, you can't be seen.
Right.
Have I seen one in particular? No, but I can tell you that there's a lot of videos online that will say otherwise.
Yep.
It's an interesting rabbit hole.
It is, man, because you know, like I said, you can go from the alien aspect. Is it genetic manipulation from reptilian aliens, you know, where they messed with human DNA and added a little bit of their DNA, or it is some kind of form of evolution where, you know, some people believe we came from fish to lizards to apes to, you know, Neanderthal to human, or can it be from the religious aspect to where the serpent in the Garden of Eden was like the first reptilian, you know, or one of many reptilians.
Bro, man, you already know when it concerning poly communities, they're morely focused on the freaking religious side of it rather than all the other sides that you're. And I'm pretty sure yeah, it's the religious side. There is a serpent race.
Yeah, exactly. But then it goes when you talk about stuff like that, it kind of goes against the religious aspect of the way we were raised, especially if you're raised in a Psalm 1 Christian home where it's, you know, LMS, where you know, there's no ghosts, there's only angels, there's,
Yes,
you know, the devil, yeah, stuff like that.
and it's funny when you bring that up, because I tell all the other hosts on here like Punimo and Benji, you know what an angel is? WeFobZ Nation, do you know what angels really are? Like the real angel as written in the Bible.
Yeah, man, like you know, like the way it's described in the Bible, if you were to try to envision that, it's not these little
No,
baby looking guys with you know, cute wings and stuff like that wearing white robes. Nah, these things are scary.
no, the big ass multiple looking eyeballs with
Eyes and
wings
wings. Yep.
everywhere. And who was it? Enoch, right? The book of Enoch that's taken out of the Bible. He describes that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like even the Catholics, man.
Even
If you know Catholics, their stories about angels, they're no joke. Like they are, you know, God's warriors. Like that is His
yeah,
creation to wreak havoc and war. They're not little baby beings that they try to depict in certain churches.
I just okay, just bringing it back. Just bringing it back. Lizard people once again. So one of the things, though, like even with angels, and then there's lizard people, because we did talk about angels. We're gonna talk about it more. Our boy Chief Lot wants to talk a lot about the Bible in the future. Chief, we're gonna be waiting for you on those episodes.
Yes, sir.
The lizard people, though, there's also that saying, like, I always tell people, man, it's hard to imagine that these things did not exist if you have dinosaurs that existed, right?
Yes, exactly. Like
How can like
the evidence is there. So like, how do you try to dispute that?
how do you go? Yeah, how do you go from that big ass lizard? And how can you not say that maybe something from there evolved down to something like a human?
Yeah, I mean, like if you watch some evolution, a lot of animals got smaller. Like they're seeing, you know, dinosaurs are relatives of birds. Birds
Right?
are descendants of dinosaurs. So you're saying T-Rex, that big ass thing, shrunk all the way down to a chicken,
Yeah,
and you know
right.
they are cousins.
So what's the possibility that maybe one of them deviated into another evolution chain that
Yep.
could have probably they've had millions of years to like actually be smart, right?
Yep, exactly.
Uh,
Well, and then like if you look at DNA, like I'm far from being an expert but like a lot of stuff I've read, a lot of stuff I've checked out while I was in school. DNA is so complex, man. There's a lot of information we cannot even dissect. Like we can't even figure out what it is. So who's to say that it's not a dormant gene? Like we have that somewhere.
And that is the whole conspiracy theory that everybody talks about with lizard people. Have you seen a lizard person? Do you know of lizard people?
Man, those, I honestly, there were times where I thought I saw something weird, like out of my peripheral. But I'm gonna keep it 100, dude. So there's a lot of people that got a lot of snake ass personalities. That's the closest thing I've seen to a lizard person.
Snake in the grass.
Yes, sir.
But you know what?
But,
I felt you on that part where you say from your peripheral vision. I'll tell my story, but go ahead.
No, it's just like there. I just spoke with my wife about this the other day, and I was like, man, I remember I had this conversation with this dude, and he kept rubbing his eyes, but he was wearing a cap, and like I would see him rubbing his eyes all the time, and then he'd look up at me, kind of blink his eyes, and go back to rubbing his eyes. So one time, I kind of looked away from him, and I just glanced back. Like as I'm glancing back, it looked like his eye did like this. The iris and the pupil of his eye did
the
this,
vertical blink.
Yes,
yeah,
it was
the vertical blink, not the freaking horizontal blink.
And that was before I even heard of the lizard people or the reptilian thing, and I was like, oh, that was trippy. And I thought it was my eyes. I was like, maybe I'm tired or something. Like it, your eyes plays tricks on you. So I try to be as logical as possible in that. And then the more time goes on, the more I open my mind to things. I'm like, damn, maybe I did see what I thought I saw.
Yeah, because at that time your mind wasn't just registering it. Because
yeah,
bro, you just explained one of my experiences too. To the T.
Oh, word?
Somebody, it was back in Frisco when I was doing film school. I was on the bus, the Muni, and I was sitting there across from an old lady who was rubbing her eyes. Rubbing. I'm pretty sure I could see like it was normal eyes, right? And I thought that she had contact lenses because something kept coming out.
Yeah.
I was in the, during those times, I usually I used to work for AMC theaters out there. It used to be known as Lowe's at the Metreon. Shout out to Frisco, I miss you. Anyhow, I was just looking and I was about to doze off, and then I thought she opened her eyes and she blinked, but she didn't blink normally. She blinked like how I told you, vertically.
Yeah.
Like inside her eye blinked. Her eye didn't blink, but inside her eye blinked. I thought. And then I just dozed off.
What was your reaction? Like, what was your physical reaction to her? And did she notice?
I did not comprehend, Oos. I just saw it and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I just went to sleep.
Oh, so like that was me too. Like I think about it all the time. Like, man, like, do I remember my actual reaction? And did I actually react the way I thought I reacted, or did I react a completely different way? And did he notice that I reacted that way? Like
I don't even know if she noticed how I was looking at her, but bro, all I remember is I dozed off right after I saw it. I don't know if it was like a spell or something, but like I said, it's like I might be thinking too much about this shit, or maybe it didn't happen, or maybe you get it.
Yeah, man. Like, so and the crazy part is it was in Hawaii, but it was a Palangi dude I was talking to at first.
Oh hell no! It's out here. Come on.
Yeah, it was in Hawaii, man. That's when I was still living out there, and like that whole interaction happened. I was like, nah. And
Oh
it was a
shit,
it was a Falangi dude at the swap meet, you know. So I was like, man,
bro. You can't count that out because you know how they have all indigenous cultures had freaking. You can even, man, on the other side of lizard people, you can even talk about what are they called? Shapeshifters, right?
yeah,
Shapeshifters,
yeah.
freaking. That's where we're going with this week, Pops Nation. These stories just they keep coming back, and it now has staying history because of the recent things that are going on in the freaking world. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it stuff like this. Whether you think it's silly or not, is still something you should question. You know, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Because, like, if you come at it from the alien aspect, right?
Yeah,
There's you look up in the sky. There's nothing but stars. Each one of those stars have a system of planets around it. So you're trying to tell me, if you don't believe in any kind of alien life, that out of all those millions, billions, trillions of stars that have planets around them, there's not a single one of them that have intelligent life that can traverse the stars.
right, right. I mean, remember they used to tell us we only had 9 planets in the solar system.
Yeah.
I used to remember Earth, Uranus, Pluto, Mars, Jupiter, Neptune. Bro, I used to know the 9 by heart.
Yeah, man, like they drilled that into us in school, like especially the public school system. It's, man, they were notorious for stuff like that.
Right? And then along comes science proving them no, we have more than a million different planets that have Earth-sized structures.
Yeah,
Never think that one type of information you're receiving is the right information. Information
yep.
changes. Man, I'm glad, I'm loving that we explored this topic. I want to put forth, is there any other questions you want our audience to be asking, bro? Like based on this topic? Tell me.
Man, honestly, I want people to be more open minded to things. Like you don't have to think that everything out there is true, but at least keep an open mind and question everything. Don't just don't just take what everybody has with a grain of salt. Like just question everything. Don't buy everything at face value. Just ask questions. Always ask questions.
Yep. Be the skeptic, WEFOBZ Nation. You have to be the skeptic. Because if you ain't questioning what you're listening or you're getting information on, what use is life?
Amen. Amen.
And Rex, man, I want to thank you for coming on to this episode for Supernatural Limits, and I'm looking forward to hosting a lot more with you, and probably I'll have more of our other guests coming in, right?
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you having me on. It was good chatting with you, and it's good to to get your perspective on these things and hear about it personally. And that is the fact that you went through something similar to mine's with the reptilian person. It's pretty trippy. So it's a little bit scary.
Oos, I didn't even know you were going to bring up a story like that, and I'm tripping here because I had that story locked and loaded for this episode, and then you hit me with that.
Yeah,
Kismet,
it's trippy.
bro. That word kismet. Fate.
Yes, I was talking to my wife about it too, and like it's trippy that you had an experience similar to it, especially the eye rubbing thing. That is a trippy detail.
Down to the T that we didn't even register it and it just went on about our daily lives, right? That
Exactly.
I think that how much you want to bet that happens to a lot of people?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, especially with people thinking that oh, maybe it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. Stuff like that. Like it's easy to write it off when you think about stuff like that.
Oh, man, so much to talk about. But you know what, Oos? We're gonna close it on that note, man. Any closing words for our audience?
And stay skeptical. And thank you, WeFobs, for having me on. Appreciate y'all. Guys so smooth. Appreciate you, Uso.
Appreciate you, Rex. There you heard it, WeFobZ Nation. If you've heard anything about lizard people or want to share any stories that you know, and leave it in the comments, hit us up, or come and join us on the podcast. We have many more topics to explore here at Supernatural Limits because we will go there. We out.
Yes.